Okay, thanks for tuning in. Once again, this is Fletch TV. It's a kickoff of a new show that I'm calling Interesting People. And this has been a couple years in the making with the gentleman I have here next to me, virtually, that is, Marcus Gal. Mark, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, I know it's okay if I call you Mark because I'm...
Yes, of course. That's the real name, yes.
Right. I have a brother, and his name is Mike, but people call him Arlo, so go figure. But he Mark, obviously you're a local guy here in the Dayton area, Dayton, Ohio. That's where we are. You are a graduate of Wayne High School, 86. I'm 87. And you have what I call an interesting life. You've done a lot of very interesting things. No more important than you are a veteran. You're a patriot. You're a country, obviously, for doing that. So I definitely thank you for your service, as well as all veterans. I hope a lot of veterans watch this because I know they'll get a lot of good things about it. We're going to do 3 interviews. This is the first one, and this one's going to be geared towards more your passion in life. One of them, that is a lifelong passion, and that is your passion for Star Wars, as well as there's a little bit expanded in that one, the community of Comic-Con, stuff like that. So I'll just kick it off by asking you, what's your earliest memory of Star Wars, and how did things snowball into getting where you're at now? So just let us know, because it's very interesting.
Well, Star Wars itself, if you remember the Salem Mall in Trotwood, Ohio, which, God rest his soul, is gone now. That's where I first saw Star Wars in 1977 as a 10-year-old. It just blew me away. And when you saw people, you lined up. You didn't buy your tickets in advance. Okay, right. You lined up, you waited in line, and hope you got a seat. And I remember going to the MCL cafeteria. I don't know if you ever went there.
Oh yeah.
And then I went across, of course, waited in line, and then went over to the movie theater, and people were just coming out, and their faces were just like, wow. And they're looking back in there like they want more. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see this. And then I remember looking up at the ceiling, and you remember those big vents they had for the air conditioning? They had a bunch of circles. Well, little did I know that later on I would see that on the Death Star, And but my most vivid memory, do you remember my sister Kelly, was
yes.
She barely stayed awake the entire movie and finally fell asleep during the battle scene.
Oh wow.
The assault on the Death Star, I looked over and she's snoring. So, but for me, that was just it was just mind-blowing. So next thing you know, I'm having dreams about fighting a stormtrooper costume under my bed. I conned my father into believing that the land speeders were at Kmart on sale. He just had to get, they were normal price, but that was my first toy, if you will. It was the land speeder, which is gone. I bought another one later.
Sure.
But so I conned him into getting that. Excuse me. And then later on, getting different toys here and there for Christmas, stuff like that. I still have my original TIE Fighter, my original X-Wing, my original Millennium Falcon, and my original Snow Speeder, all from, say 78, because that's when Kenner started knocking them out. And then 80, 82, 83, when the, I think Jedi was the last one. Yeah, so, and then later on, I bought other toys. I didn't have a Darth Vader TIE Fighter, so I bought that later on. I got an Imperial Shuttle as a wedding gift from a friend of mine who's a judge who likes to, he's a Dayton municipal, I can't even talk, municipal court judge.
Okay.
He loves dressing as the Emperor. So,
is he still a judge now?
Still a judge.
You don't have to say his name. I just want, because my sister is a Montgomery County bailiff at the municipal court. So
let's just say, I'll say his name. You don't mind, Judge Dan Garris.
Okay.
And just tell her to look at his chambers one time. I told him that he needs to will that stuff to me as not his son's. That's all I've got to say.
Nice.
His chamber's full. Either Star Trek, Star Wars, baseball. He's like a giant kid. It really is. But we were around, and I was in Vader. I had another person doing a Stormtrooper, and we ran around. He was in his Emperor robe, and we give out candy all along the offices there.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, he sat at Matt Hex, the prosecutor in Montgomery County. He sat at his desk and pretended he was ruling or whatever, and so it was good times. I'll have to find those pictures to send to you.
Oh yeah. Were you working in the Montgomery County? Like were you a
Clayton
officer?
police officer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, in 15, I retired as a Clayton police officer for 13 years. Before that, I was at Xenia. And before that was the Army.
Okay.
And then different, worked at a hospital security, and then I tried to go patrol academy, got injured. I was more meant to be a cop instead of a state trooper anyway.
Right.
I love doing traffic, but I also enjoyed taking the other calls too.
Sure.
So yeah, I was still a police officer at the time.
Okay.
And so of course we had the kinship, me being an officer, him being a judge.
Right.
And I never heard anything before him because most of my stuff was in Clayton, as far as jurisdictions, whatnot.
Sure.
But so I get, let me put it this way, I get so much stuff, I don't have room to display it.
Well, let's talk about who's your favorite character? And I think I know who it is, but I want to say it before you say it.
I probably have to say the big guy up there, Darth Vader.
Okay.
Yeah, like I told you off camera, I want to do Vader back in, gosh, what was it? A long time ago, 2003, 2004. I thought about doing Darth Vader, and I went to Foy's costume shop in Fairborn. Became friends. Yeah, so I'm friends with Mike Foy, and they had the costume shop down there. I said, "You guys have tons of costumes. Has anybody made a Darth Vader yet?" She says, the woman running the shop says, "No, not yet, but we are going to a convention in Vegas, and we hear that this company Rubies, which is pretty common, people in the costuming know Rubies out in New York. I think they're making a costume." So sure enough, they went, and I didn't hear anything from them. And then she calls me about a week later. Guess what we got? I said, "What?" And sure enough, they had a Vader costume, and it was the Revenge of the Sith one. And once you're into the genre, you know the differences. There's 4 different Vaders.
Okay.
So quick brief. A New Hope is different than Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back is different than Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is different than Revenge of the Sith. The final one was made for Hayden Christensen personally. The other 3 were made for Dave Prowse.
Okay.
And the biggest nuances are the height in the helmet in the back. Like the one behind me is Empire Strikes Back. The helmet goes down farther, and the chin vent's a little different. Jedi, it's a little higher, and I think chin vent's about the same, but a little nuance. And then A New Hope, the first one, 77, itty bitty little triangle chin vent. He's got a widow's peak in his helmet, and matter of fact, well, never mind. So, like I said, and if you look closely, especially the Blu-ray versions, you're going to see all kinds of imperfections in that helmet. They didn't fix it because they didn't know it was going to go anywhere.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So when they finally made all that money, they're like, heck yeah. So, where was I? So that's nuances in the helmet. So I went down, put the costume on for Rubies. It didn't wear exactly the way it was supposed to, like I told you. But they took pictures for their book. I was barefoot, so they colored in my feet. And if you go down there today and look for the Darth Vader costume to rent, you'll see me in the costume. So I bought different pieces from it. Like the original bodysuit was like a sauna, and because it wasn't leather, it was pleather. But that was my first bodysuit. And my first belt boxes, you see the box, those were handmade by a friend of mine. We altered the helmet I had, and just but and then I'm meeting another police officer. It was a short guy, and we ended up trading my Ruby stuff for more authentic stuff. So it's like trading a Pinto for a Porsche, basically. So I'd say within the span of 3 months, I had a full costume. And if you join the 501st Legion, which is the bad guys, I've been a member since 2005, your costume has to look like you just walked off the screen set.
Oh,
and that's when my Vader's worth about $5,000.
Excellent. Now, who else? Let's see, not this past year, but when I turned 50, which was in 99, it was on a Saturday, and that was Star Wars Day. It was my birthday's on the 4th, but Star Wars Day was on the 4th. And down in Miamisburg, they played Return of the Jedi for free at their local theater, and the 501st came in there. took a couple of selfies with some people out there and stuff, Imperial Guards, and so somebody came in a Vader costume.
Yeah, was that this year or
it was 99? It was 99.
Oh, 99.
Yeah,
I wasn't even a member yet. That was, I want to say,
sorry,
Miamisburg.
2019. Big.
Oh, 19.
Big,
So last year. Yeah, it was
I just turned 50.
My friend Mike Krasenik, I believe, was the Vader last year. And I was going to go down. Matter of fact, they weren't showing Jedi. They showed the Empire, didn't they?
It was Jedi when I turned in 2019. It was Jedi. I think now 2020, this past year, I don't think they did it because
this year. Yeah, they did it.
They did. Okay.
I think it was limited or something like that. But yeah, I wanted to do it last year, but my feet weren't cooperating. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was probably Mike. It was back in the day, believe it or not, I was the only Darth Vader in the whole state of Ohio because we kept losing people. Yeah. And now we probably have 10, 11 throughout Ohio, which is great because I had to travel from Dayton to Columbus to Cleveland, because they always want a Vader. So I'm like, okay. And so I did it. But luckily now we got a lot of people that do really good, Vader costumes. Of course, like I said, we have a standard and we don't try to be elitist, but if you're going to do it right. My wife calls me Vanity Vader when she dresses me. And the pretense is that if you're going to do the costume and pay homage to these characters, you got to look just like them. Right. You try to get their mannerisms down, the way they stand, how they tuck their hands in their belt, and all that stuff, So if you're some in the background, sorry, it's my McCall. Matter of fact, he's talking away.
It's no problem. It's all live. That's what's good about it.
Yeah, his favorite thing is look what I got. So,
no problem.
Yeah, so 2005.
Over how many years did you put together your Vader costume before you had it finalized?
I would say 3 months. I was
real quick.
From the time I was interested, from the time I met that guy, we traded stuff because he had stuff. A company doesn't exist anymore. It's called Galaxy Trading Center. It was just a company that made props. Matter of fact, my wool robe was so long it had to be trimmed. Oh, wow. Matter of fact, when I did the Carry a Holiday parade, I didn't know it needed to be trimmed. It looked like I was in a wedding. It looked like I had a wedding train behind me, and the cape was just dragging on the ground. So that was my first appearance in the parade. And the helmet I had was a Don Post. If you're into costuming or legendary, Don Post is he did the original Michael Myers mask. He did but he did a replica of the Vader helmet. But to make sure that he didn't mess with Lucas licensing, he actually changed the paint job. So if a cheek's supposed to be gray here and black here, he reversed them. So unless you know what you're looking for, you have no idea. So I dripped in that helmet. No fans, to keep us cool, nothing. And I was luckily I was skinnier, and I was just a giant sweat bucket when I was done. But it's just the crowds, and to have a person like your age, or my age, and we show up in costume, that person goes from 50 to 10 like that.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just because it brings back so many memories, Oh yeah. And for me, I have a $500 voice unit, so it's got the breathing, and I can alter my voice. I can alter my voice like this, and everything else. And so when they expect you to stand there and they hear the breathing, like, okay. And when you can actually respond to them, they're like, holy cow, they just don't believe it.
Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. So what other, I know you have a lot of other costumes. What are some of your other favorites?
Well, Star Wars genre. My next one is Tarful. That's General Tarful right there. The first Tarful approved in the Rebel Legion, which is about 20,000 people now. Wow. Ryan Ricks made that for me. He is doing props now down in Hollywood. He's living in Georgia. He lived up here for the longest time. When his wife was in the Army, she was a vet, actual veterinarian. And so she retired, moved down there, but that's Tarful. And so like I said, that's probably one of my other favorite costumes to do. A, it's soft. B, you don't sweat as much. The air goes through the hair.
Okay.
And C, you can actually see where you're going.
I've seen pictures of you in the Facebook. One, you're with a small boy. I don't know if he's a grandson or just a fan at a place.
That was my grandson. Yeah, he came to visit.
Okay.
Yeah, that was at Boonshoft. We used to do
okay.
God, what they call it? I can't remember. They had a name for it, but yeah, it was
Okay.
Boonshop Museum Discovery. We did a Halloween thing, and he had just happened to be in town with my son. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so that was
Yeah.
my grandson. That was great.
We should tell people that don't know you, obviously watching this, you're 6'9", so you make
Yes.
a great Vader and a Wookiee.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm trying to change trim too. About 400, but like an NFL lineman, not a big sumo wrestler.
Right.
But no, I appreciate that. It's funny you should say that. Back in 2007, I met Dave Prowse, who actually played Darth Vader in the costume. And we did this skit. If you get on Rocket Man on YouTube, you're going to see Celebration. It's called Celebration 4. It was Los Angeles. And we do this skit where the Rocket Man comes in dressed as Boba Fett on his jetpack.
Oh, okay.
So we get done with that skit, and I was basically deaf because everybody got earplugs except Darth Vader. And it was like being on an airplane tarmac. It was that loud when he landed.
Wow.
And so we get done. Stormtroopers start filing in. Boba Fett and I walk together in. So we're going up the escalators now. It's before the convention opened. And we end up stopping right by Dave Prowse's table. And there was nobody there. And I got lucky enough because he very seldom stands up. So he stood up for me. We got pictures together. That's on Facebook.
Okay.
And walked away. Now, supposedly he said to his handler, because they always have handlers for official pics, all that stuff. He supposedly told his handler, next to me, that's the best effing Vader I've ever seen. And now the a little skinnier, and the whole 9 yards. And I've been doing Empire Strikes Back. I did Return of the Jedi for a minute. Well, like I said, there's very little nuances. So I got rid of the Jedi, retired Jedi, gave it to a friend of mine who built my Wookiee, Ryan. So he brought Wookiee in my life. I brought Vader in his life.
Sure.
And he doesn't wear it. He just has it. And then, like I said, that was fantastic to meet Dave.
Now, how tall is Dave Prowse? Is he a big guy?
Dave is now about 6'4". Okay. Different hip surgery, stuff like that. He was a bodybuilder back in the day, so I think that may have took a toll on his overall body.
Sure.
He was in a car accident. That's why his face is kind of down like a stroke. Yeah, I thought it was a stroke, but I know several friends of mine that are Star Wars actors, and they insist no, it was a car accident.
Wow.
It looks like a stroke. But yeah, he's only, I would say 6'4", 6'5" now. Now he was 6'6" and then 6'8" in costume when he had the dome on. Yeah, because it adds a little height, the actual Darth Vader dome. Right. Adds a little height. So he's about 6'8" in costume.
Okay. And you also knew, rest in peace, Peter Mayhew.
Correct?
Yes. And how tall was he? He was a 7-footer, correct?
Yeah, he's 7'2".
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, 7'2". Skinny. I thought, you always think he's bigger, but he didn't get really put some weight on until surgeries. Of course, he was laid up; he couldn't move around. Right. But yeah, my wife and I called him and his wife Mom and Dad. We became that close, and we met them at Dragon Con, which is a huge convention in Atlanta every Labor Day weekend. About 85,000 like-minded geeks show up to party. It's a giant party because 5 hotels host it.
Wow.
You never have to go to sleep. And so it's, you get passes, which I don't know what they're for but people enjoy the passes, like this year it got canceled, but sure enough, let me move Baby Yoda here. Sure enough, they end up sending us the what the pass would have looked like. So the pass, they're really pretty passes. Like this is a theme this year. It says Dragon Con. You make up names. Now, I did not put the name on there. It's just a label they put on there. It says Marc Hai Gao. Now, it's bad enough that my last name sounds Chinese, but why put Hai in there? But this would have been the pass this year. And you got a little thing there you put on the lanyard. They also sent, a lanyard, which is really cool. And it even says, "This is the way," for Mandalorian. So it's pretty cool. And then, of course, you always get your COVID mask. So that's the official symbol for Dragon Con.
So what's the Dragon Con? Is that just a generic term for anything sci-fi?
Yes. Any genre. anytime. You can wear as less as you want. You can wear as much as you want. If you get on YouTube and just put Dragon Con in there, you will be amazed at the costumes.
Okay.
I mean, some people put year and a half in these costumes. I mean,
Wow.
it's and they want to show them off, you know.
Sure.
So that's the biggest thing, and that's when I come up with Thanos. You know, I told you about Thanos.
Right.
Yeah. So there. Oh shoot. There's Thanos. That's the top. You're looking at $1,800 just right there.
Wow. And that's rubber, you said? A lot of it?
Yeah, the muscle suit's rubber, custom made. The top gold piece is rubber. You can't tell. The belt's rubber, hard rubber.
I see the gauntlet in the background.
Yep, you have the gauntlet. As a matter of fact, the same guy that made the rubber pieces, I bought that from him because he weathered it and everything else. Like $250 right there.
Okay.
And it's the Hasbro one, you know. But and I sewed the suit myself.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's got different pieces front and back. You got pleats on the side and the back, and yes, it's complicated. But luckily, I had that statue, which you couldn't see. But I looked at the statue and I said, "Okay, this is what I need to do." So, try to get the camera right.
Oh, it's right. So, did you the big, I guess, sword or whatever, Thanos? Do you have something like that? Are you working on that?
No, I'm not going to do Endgame.
Okay.
Yeah, this is probably for the Thanos, you know. And of course, I got prosthetics I wear. You see on Facebook, I got prosthetics I wear. The covers here, and I'll probably have to shave this down next time I wear it. I can keep my goatee, but I'll shave this down. Ever since COVID, I decided to grow a beard. And of course, I'm always bald, so that helps.
Right.
You know, so I just paint my whole head purple, and then I have an old mask. I kept the cowl from it. The mask I wasn't impressed with. I saw a memory, matter of fact, yesterday when I was originally starting to build Thanos, and the mask I had was full head. I bought it. I didn't like the face and the nose, so I went a different route. I kept the cowl to cover because that chest area right there is open, so I decided to keep the cowl, which is still purple and everything else. So like I said, you picture it blends pretty well.
So obviously, Star Wars is kind of, I say rebooted, but they've got the new generation going on with the last 3 movies, but more importantly, the guys like you and me, The Mandalorian started, which we love tremendously. Yep. And you love it so much, you're working on some Mandalorian stuff, correct?
That's correct. I got let me see, where's it at? So here. So I got the new helmets. The one on the smaller one, it was just too small. So I had somebody make me a bigger one, and that's that one there. I printed off the gun, which is huge. I'd say the gun itself he carries. I'm doing heavy infantry.
Right.
The gun itself, I would say, is every bit of 4 feet long, if not longer. I printed off, like I show you, I printed off gauntlets. It's still a 3D print, by the way. It's amazing in 3D printer.
No, that's going to revolutionize what you're doing now with 3D.
Oh, absolutely amazing! This is an ab plate that 3D printed yesterday, and I got that Velcroed in. I started another 3D print this morning, and anybody that does 3D print can appreciate it's aggravating sometimes. And then this is a 5 plate 3D print on the front. I need Sintra on the back, so I got to repaint it yet to make it look. But like I said, all different pieces, and you buy files, and it comes out rough like this. And because it's plastic, you can paint any color you want.
Right.
So you see the little divots. He's supposed to be combat damage, you know, so which helps immensely and all that stuff. So you put what you do is you put silver in there to make it look weathered, you know, like it's supposed to be metal, so like it got beat up.
Sure.
So yeah, it's I've had a great time at 3D printer. I bought it with Uncle Trump. He gave us the original stimulus check.
Oh, there you go.
And the printer was like, it was a refurbished, whatever that means. It still cost me about $400, $450.
Wow.
And that, but it's just amazing. And now I think you can get them for cheaper because they're really knocking them out now. Right. You know, so you can get them online for, you know, I'd say about that price. They're a little cheaper now, but it's all what kind of printer you want too.
Right.
You know, and this is PLA. It's a plastic. Some people use ABS, but ABS, they get fumes, and you gotta have a really hot environment. And so my friend uses that, and most of his printers don't come out. So I said, dude, switch to this plastic. You'll be happier.
So how far along are you in your Mandalorian costume?
I would
creation?
say I have people in Indiana. They're going to send it to me. I had a chest piece made bigger. I have one I made out Centro, which is behind you. I'm looking at right now. But I figured if I'm going to 3D print the rest of this, let me 3D print the big parts.
Sure.
Sintra is a plastic and it's fantastic. You heat it up, you can move it, mold it anywhere you want. And once it cools down, it stays there. But I figured, you know what, we'll try the front and the back piece, because the back piece later on, I have to also 3D print a giant jetpack. So, and that's all got to go together, right? So all those pieces, I got the files, I just got to print them. And a jetpack's going to be like, you know, that big, and it's got a hook on my back. And then you got the gun, and that's going to hook on my back. And then I got to get this nylon rope. And these things, believe it or not, these are supposed to be rounds, like bullets. And there's like 27 of these puppies that go on there all around. And so I got only 25 more to go. And but like I said, it's a passion. It keeps me, you know, it keeps me busy. I was doing COVID before COVID was cool. The only thing I miss now is going to the gym, because I'm trying to take it easy on my foot, try to get this blister I have to heal up, because Charcot is really, really complicated. It's working. It's filling in, not to get too graphic, but I just hold about that big. So it's filling in. I just got to get it to close now.
Okay.
So Mama won't let me go to the gym. So
getting back to Peter Mayhew, you were telling us you met him at a Dragon Con?
Yes, remember Dragon Con? Sunday nights they have a thing called, it's just a get together. We used to get on this little balcony of the Hyatt Hotel. We'd have drinky poos, of course. Angie always brought us absinthe. Always brought absinthe. And of course, absinthe itself is nasty. So we get tons of packets of sugar from the local Starbucks in there, dump them in there. And we were doing dangerous crap before COVID was even around, because we just throw a bunch of straws in the community drink. And of course, you had your own drink too. So we became really good friends ever since then. The most coveted thing I told you was this cane. I'm reaching for it. This was so let me back up. So I go down last year, and the premise was that I was going to go down with a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist, and I was going to hang out with Peter at his table, as I've done numerous occasions, to help sign autographs. And I land in Dallas, and I get a message from a family friend named Ryan. He's on Facebook, which I never do. He says, call me when you land. So I called him, and that's when he told me Peter was dead. He had died the night before. Needless to say, the only people who knew Peter was dead was the family, myself, and that was about it at that time.
Oh, wow.
And so I had the honor being a pallbearer. And
no kidding. That's amazing.
And yeah, so, and you know, of course, we were there for the viewing, the funeral home, the local town. We had, you know, some police officers there. I think we saw somebody in the woods taking pictures, but whatever. But we kept it pretty tight. So imagine this. Imagine being there. He died on a Monday night, and from Tuesday to Thursday, we still hadn't announced it yet. We need to find a coffin. And you would think in Texas they would have coffins, because everything's big in Texas.
Right.
It took a while to find a coffin.
Wow.
So we finally found a coffin. Then we can announce to the world that Peter had died.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was like a heart attack. They tried to work on him for a while. And of course, the medics took like 15 minutes to get there, because they're not in the middle of nowhere. But if you don't know where the ranch is, you know what you're looking for? You have no idea.
Okay.
Right there in Boyd, Texas. And what I have in my hand is one of his canes. He uses blue one mostly, and that's in the museum. They call it the Wookiee Room down in the ranch there. And I think I had some pictures on Facebook, but I could send them to you as well. But this is his walking cane. One of somebody made him. And of course, it's a form of a lightsaber. You see the lightsaber hilt.
Right.
And on the top is the rebel the rebel symbol.
Nice.
Right. It's engraved. They tried to do his autograph, which is this is nothing like his autograph. It's kind of a sheen on there, but yeah, nothing like his actual autograph. And then I think it's supposed to be Chewbacca. I'm not quite sure.
I'm guessing, yeah.
But they tried, and it's green, and this is made for I can use this, but it's actually made for a 7-footer. And this is one of his canes. I actually got some pictures of him using it, but the blue cane was his primary cane.
Okay.
And so this is priceless.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So Andrew gave that to me, and
so when the funeral happened, much of the Star Wars community, I don't mean public, didn't know it that he was passed away. Is that right?
No. Matter of fact, the people, his Ryan is also, you might as well say his son-in-law. Him and his daughter aren't married yet, but also his agent. And they actually contacted Lucasfilm to let them know that he had passed.
Okay, so they did.
And so they knew. Yeah, I would say they knew Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, nowhere on Wednesday. They knew that Peter had passed. And, of course, the first flowers came to the house. And they were from Adam Driver and his wife.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so, and then they were talking to different people from Lucasfilm on the phone. Angie was. They have a really nice deck, and of course Peter's got his chair, huge chair, that somebody made for him on the deck there in Texas. And it was like I said, it was solemn, it was depressing. Sure. I sat at the table during the con. They had his table he was supposed to be at. They made a makeshift memorial, beautiful flowers. They had the picture of just him. I don't know if you ever seen the picture. He's sitting there, and the guy made his Wookiee head is standing there holding his head before he goes to put on him. And Peter's looking up. He's got the black around his eyes.
Okay.
And so that's the picture. So they cropped the other guy out and just said Peter.
Okay.
And I sat at the table for 4 days. The outcry was just awesome.
Sure.
And tons of fans all the way back. We had books people could sign. They could write whatever they want in there. Some people had to sign for different people from different countries because they couldn't make it over. Other celebrities will leave their tables and come over and sign.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was amazing. It really was.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. He was. Things that I know of, I'll watch video stuff, how more of a typical big, gentle giant type person.
Yeah, and most of us are, unless you really tick us off, and then you better start running.
Right. So what's your best memory of any Star Wars Comic-Con or Star Wars convention? I'm sure how many of those have you been to, the Star Wars convention? All of them, I guess.
I have not been to San Diego Comic-Con yet. Out in San Diego. It's usually sold out. I may try to go with the artist friend of mine next year. My wife and I, because we just want to experience it. Dragon Con, we try to get to every year, because once you go, you want to keep going. Like I said, when you get done later on today, just get on YouTube, just punch in Dragon Con. Sure. And to see the videos and the costumes, and it's just absolutely amazing. It's one big party. It really is. It's like Geekapalooza. So I'd say Dragon Con has been the most impressive Star Wars genre. Getting to meet Peter and become really good friends with him, hang out with him and Angie. Like I said, we call her mom. Anytime. At Dragon Con, we'd be at the end of the evening. And like I said, during the con, they had their own handlers, so I didn't have to sit with them during the convention at Dragon Con.
Right.
But I remember Dragon Con 2 years ago that he had a panel he had to do. Because they do these panels. So I had the pleasure, he's in his wheelchair, so I went ahead and wheelchaired him all the way there. And I got to meet one of the voice actors. I didn't know who she was, but she did the main character in Rebels. I think she was a female pilot character in Rebels.
The cartoon.
The voice actress. And I'm like, whatever, let's get a picture. But so it's like, okay, Dad, hit the stage. And we got done. I got him, and we took him back. And it's really great. You can just sit in the green room and share stories and everything else, and
sure.
Torrid tales about different actors like Anthony Daniels, which I won't share. The coolest thing was probably one memory that 3 years ago, Dave Prowse, his last U.S. convention was in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh,
And so me and gosh, I wish I found the picture. I took everything off the walls because construction is just tearing everything up. It was me and 6 other Vaders, and I stood behind Dave. And Dave, like I said, he's become more feeble as the years go on. He had been sitting for a long time getting pictures. People just come up, stand with him, take the picture, and move on. He wanted to stand up for us, of course. And he wanted to stand for the picture. And I tried to hold him up, if you will, because I was right behind him. And because I had a voice here, I said, no, just sit down. You're fine.
right.
And so he did. He sat down. We took the pictures. George Muller, the friend we know, mutual. George not only got up to this time, he had never met any actors. He got to meet Dave Prowse, get a picture with Dave Prowse, and meet Peter Mayhew and have dinner with Peter Mayhew all in one day. So,
Wow.
Who's a good friend? This guy.
Oh yeah.
So, but that was awesome. And then he autographed all of our helmets. Back in the day, he used to sign Dave Prowse is Darth Vader. Now, I don't know what happened. I think Lucasfilm started to smack him down again because then he put my helmet's over there, but it's something like a galaxy far, far away. You know, Dave Prowse is Darth Vader. He had to put something else in there too, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a big scuttlebutt back in the day that Dave said something off color or whatever. And then Disney says, or George Lucas says, you're never doing. His last Star Wars convention was Celebration 4 in Los Angeles. He never got to do any more Star Wars conventions ever again.
Wow.
So he had to do off different genre, conventions. Right. If it's this con or that con, especially in Europe. Yeah, he would go everywhere and do cons there, but I don't think he travels anymore. Like I said, we're losing more actors by the day. Yeah. You know, Carrie was something else. She was just a nut. And I really don't know how much longer Dave's going to be with us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then I'm hearing Jeremy Bullock is not doing that great either. Okay. Yeah, he's matter of fact, a friend of mine who's an actor was signing autographs with him, and I'm getting rid of a stink bug, sorry. And he would forget to sign Is Boba Fett. He would just sign Jeremy Bullock.
Oh.
So when he was reminded, oh, Jeremy, you gotta sign it Is Boba Fett. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. So, and Jeremy and his wife, I met them in 2005, 2006 at COSI in Columbus. Okay. Fantastic people. Oh my God, just awesome. You know, we had a big lunch thing and, we got them wherever they needed us. Usually we always do. And the cool thing about the 501st, also Rebel Legion, mostly the 501st, is it's a big family. So if I go to anywhere in Ohio, and we're having an event, I could probably crash their house. If I go to Texas, I could probably crash their house. If I go to Carolina, if I go anywhere in the state, because I think all 50 states have, matter of fact, just about every country in the world has at least a squad, at least 12 people that are Star Wars in the club.
Oh, wow.
Russia, Prague, everywhere. And it's just amazing, all for the love of Star Wars.
Wow.
And there's different vendors that make stuff and sell stuff and stuff like that. So, my bird.
I got a question for you, just out of curiosity, because I don't know the answer to this. Fan films, Star Wars fan films. I've seen a few. One that comes to mind, which I want to say is like a decade ago, at least. I've been married for a decade, so you know what it is. You get married, you forget time.
I know.
Lapses for you. There was one that was really excellently well done called Revolutions, I believe it was called.
I don't know if I ever saw that one. I remember Troops. Do you remember Troops?
Yes. So I just didn't know. I think the 501st has been involved in some helping out with when they have stormtrooper shoots and stuff. Have you ever been a part of a fan film?
Yes. It never made it to actual post-production. They were going to edit. They were going to show at Dragon Con. There's a picture on my Facebook. You'll see me and Vader sitting at a desk. We spent all day shooting that thing. I was in different, when you're not taking a shot, you would take off the top, whatever. I was driving cars. There's one scene where I'm driving the car and I look over and sure enough, there's a sign that says Vader parking only. Well, somebody's parked to my spot. So you see I do this, I look at it, and I'm like, so I just look at it like, really? You can't see my face, of course. I'm wearing the mask, and I go back. And then later on, switch to the next shot. Like I said, I wish it would have got done. But and there was a thing on YouTube where I was making breakfast, throwing it in the blender, and it's supposed to drink it with a straw. But I take my lightsaber out, and I lightsaber their car as I'm walking by. They never finished it.
Oh man, that's a bummer.
They were supposed to finish it and send it to Dragon Con for their fan films, but to my knowledge, it never happened.
That's a bummer.
If I find some pictures, I wish I could find that YouTube video. They could actually put it up there, and you see me throwing the bacon in there, the eggs in there, and they were good. I mean, these guys, they had extra bacon and eggs, in case we had to reshoot it and everything else.
Right.
And OJ, throw the OJ in there, and you put it in the blender. And next thing I'm sitting at the end of the counter, and I got a straw, like I'm going to drink it. But it starts out with the alarm. On the phone. So I reach over, shut it off. I'm like, and then of course I ever got the helmet on and everything. That's the first time I ever laid down in a bed with the Vader helmet on.
Oh wow.
So I lean up, I'm like, oh, here I go. That kind of thing. And just normal breakfast, normal daily routine. I just wish it went to post. I wish it really got it done. But that was the only fan film I was ever in. But yeah, Mandalorian, that one scene with all the stormtroopers where they go in. I thought you said there was only a squad or something, and they're all over the place. Those are all 501st. They were extras.
Really awesome.
Yep. And they contact them and they say, "Look, we need extras. You guys have the costumes." So Dave Filoni, and what's his face reached out, and of course they're like, "Heck yeah,
yeah." No
so
doubt.
So that's our claim to fame. They were extras, in the film, in the movie or the show rather.
I'm trying to think. I know I saw the documentaries about the Mandalorian, and the number 4 talked about how they shot so much stuff with a new technology. There's no green screen; it's all live. It blew my mind. I felt like it was 1977 again. I'm seeing something I've never seen before, which I was.
I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. I decided to watch it again too. I mean, you have a screen above, you have a screen all the way around, and that's how they got the reflections on his helmet. I mean, you would think like he's fixing his armor. They just built that hill in the studio, and they got all that stuff around him. You swear to God he's there, and he's it's just absolutely amazing. And I guess from Jungle Book, he who was that guy?
Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
They just learn more and more and more, and they come up with that, and it's just wow.
Yeah, I remember watching the first couple episodes of Mandalorian last year, and I kind of looked for stuff like that, and I was thinking, wow, it looks like they're really shooting this on site. That doesn't look CG at all. So they really, I always think that's kind of cool that Lucas likes to go on site, and then I watched that documentary going, holy cow. And I went back and I'm going, I can't believe that just looks perfect. And
we've been tricked.
I think they said that they had set up and they had Disney people come out and sit down. They were talking to them and they had no idea they were looking at a video screen. They thought they were in a real set.
And they call it the volume. Yeah, they call it the volume. Yeah, wow. And you're right. When you can fool artists, they're sitting there thinking they're actually these are hard built sets, and no, it's just a screen. Watch, and they change it that quick.
And then when the camera is walking, the back parallax, it's wow. I was just amazing. I can't. It starts. I think it comes out this Friday as episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely looking forward to that, as I'm sure you are, and the millions of other people that are watching this. But hopefully
all 4 of you.
Yeah, 4 of them. And 2 of them are related to me, and 2 of them related to you. But
probably.
So, how many other costumes do you have, Star Wars wise? You told me
Star Wars wise. The other one I have is Imperial Officer, which they're standard. So I decided to do that as a soft costume. So I had 3 Star Wars costumes. I have are Vader, the Wookiee, and Imperial Officer.
Did your bird just fly by?
Yeah, that's the little green one I told you about.
Yeah, it just went by your head. Okay,
that's Boba. Yeah, it's Boba.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I said, we have Star Wars pet. That's Boba and Boba Fett 'cause he's green.
Okay.
The one you hear going on is Baron, and that we got him from somebody else, and he was already named Baron, like Red Baron, so we just kept it Baron.
Nice.
I have a black cat named Sith, I got a white cat named Rebel, cat named Rebel, and our German Shepherd Saber.
Right.
And then
Excellent.
God rest his soul, we had the Jack Russell named Vader. Now, here's a funny I didn't tell you yesterday. Our neighbor back here is a Grand Pyrenees, huge white dog. Well, Vader decided to get out, as he usually does. That dog's name's Lando. Lando
No
Calrissian.
way.
Lando Calrissian killed Vader.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they name him Lando on purpose because of Star Wars?
It was already Lando. I think so, yeah.
Wow.
Before we even knew each other. Yeah, because our back neighbor is like all the property back there. It's Coach Construction. So he has got so much property back there. He built 2 more houses for his kids back there. And we're not talking small houses, okay? We're talking really nice houses. But yeah, we didn't see Lando for a while. He tried to tell me the coyotes got him during the day. I couldn't hold against him. I mean, my dog was on his property. You know? Yeah, I'm sure Vader tried to fight, but yeah, we got Grand Pyrenees, which are very territorial and they're huge.
And he had the high ground.
Yep, he had the high ground. Yep, Lando with his cape took out Vader. So,
Man.
but Saber's much happier because Vader was so alpha as Jack Russells are.
Right.
Oh, there's Boba again. He still laughs. But yeah, we're a Star Wars family. You know, as far as the pets and everything else.
So you never did get the stormtrooper costume you dreamed about under your bed?
No. Matter of fact, it's sad. There's a guy in Australia who does a stormtrooper. I use air quotes. Bing, bing. He's 7 foot tall.
Wow.
Now the problem is you have gapping between the thigh pieces and the calf pieces, and yeah, you wear the undersuit, which is black. Okay, these gaps are huge in between there. Why somebody didn't tell him? Yeah, I don't think he still troops anymore, to be honest with you, because this was years ago. I saw the pictures. I'm like, somebody should tell him, look, mate, it's not going to work. He's just too tall.
Right.
Now, George, like I said, wants to do Vader. He really does. And I've given him some stuff I'm not going to use anymore. But he really wants to do Vader. And you can't be 7'2" and do a Vader. Okay? I mean, I'm stretching at 6'9", you know? I mean, but you just can't do that. Yeah, just that. So I got him Wookiee. He's a Wookiee now, so he's happy.
I was going to say he does have his own Wookiee costume, right?
Yes, he's got his own.
Is he a certain other character like your Tarful?
Yeah, it's called Black Chrysanthemum.
Okay,
and from the comic books, and he's a bounty hunter. And matter of fact, he has a scar on his eye, and that is from Chewbacca. Chewbacca had a fight, and Chewbacca got a really good scar on his eye. And but he's a bounty hunter, but he's a Wookiee, so he's a good guy and a bad guy.
And a bad guy, right?
Yeah. So the Vader for me is 501st, and then the Tarful Rebel Legion. Okay. So a lot of us are dual club members, you know. So if we have a convention and we're gonna do shifts as Vader, I'll do 2 hours, get out. Somebody else, I can do the costume. I could do the Wookiee. I could do the Imperial officer. Right. You know, so still dress up, still have a good time.
Now, as far as underneath the Wookiee costume, you probably black your eyes so they don't show up through the holes.
Right.
What else do you got to do other than putting it on?
Well, we wear Under Armour long sleeve shirt, Under Armour pants, you know, because you only see the skin through the fur. So those are black and dark blue. The shoes I used to wear platforms. I can't do it anymore because of my feet. So I have these boots. I put a little lift on them, but not much. And put the fur on them. I haven't trooped in them yet. I'm sure they're gonna be fantastic because I wore the boots before. And then of course you get the pants on. You got suspenders, keep them up, keep the pants on, and then you got the shirt, just like putting the shirt on. And then you got gloves you wear. Of course, I wear black leather gloves that look like actual hands or whatever. Right. And then the head. And with the head, you gotta make sure that whoever's with you, you gotta make sure the hair's down around the neck. So you can't. I did a spot for Fox 45, and they were talking about the Boonshaft. Yeah, we see Discovery doing it. And so I thought I was done. And next thing you know, they want me out there again. Well, nobody really looked at my neck, so I'm talking to him. As I'm talking to him, you can see my skin right here, you know. Wow. And so that ticked me off. because we're doing a bit of an improv thing, while he's doing the weather. It was live too, right?
Okay.
So what are you gonna do? So I still have it recorded on my DVR, but it was just great. You get to ham it up. Of course, me being so big as I am, and the Wookiee, I'm even bigger. And then, so you give people hugs and mess with their hair and all kinds of stuff. And of course, you got all the hair hanging down. So if I put my palm on your head, all the hair's going to hang down your face. And we love doing that with kids.
Yeah, sure.
One of the best times. I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones or not, but I met probably 5 of the actors in person. And the first actor I met was, or actress, is Macy Williams, the girl who plays Arya Stark.
Okay.
And so I'm in Indiana, and I go get her autograph out of costume. I say, look, I do a Wookiee. I would love to come back and get pictures with you. Would you mind? And of course, she's like 16. She's like, oh, yeah, that'd be brilliant, So next thing you know, I'm getting ready to go over there. Her people are coming to find me. So we go over there, and I'm still 7'4" because I still got my platforms on. So look down there. Of course, Turfel is kind of a mean face. He's not Chewbacca. He's kind of a pissed off kind of guy. And I could tell she was scared. I said, "You want me to take the mask off?" She says, "Yes, please." So I took the mask off.
Wow.
And then, being as a kid she is, she says, "Can I wear it?" I said, "Do you understand? It's quite sweaty in there." She didn't care. So she put it on. Matter of fact, if you get on YouTube, look up Macy Williams Becomes a Wookiee, you'll see us. Oh, wow. And I give her the head. She puts it on, next thing you know, she's doing this, like Nixon. And then one of my friends give her a blaster. She's holding the blaster. And you hear her, she goes, "Oh my God, it's so heavy." But she is just a sweetheart. She really is. I don't know how she is now because she's gotten older. But
she was the youngest of the Stark with the short hair. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The little one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I watched, I think 4 seasons of that before. Honestly, I don't consider myself the most intelligent person. I couldn't figure out where the throne was they were trying to fight for, who was in charge of what. I was just so lost.
The Iron Throne down at King's Landing. Yes,
I didn't know there was a girl and dragons, and then the boy, and then the short. I don't know if you call him a dwarf or whatever he was.
Yeah,
he was my favorite actor of the
Tyrion. Yeah, Peter Dinklage is awesome. Yeah,
he was. I liked him, and I really liked the Ned Stark, who they chopped his head off at the final of the first season. And I'm like,
that's my
favorite guy.
When we watched it, we kept hearing about it. This is really good. This is really good. My wife and I decided to watch it. We're like, oh man, this is really good. And you're thinking that's a main actor. I mean, that's a popular actor.
Right.
And when he died, we both looked at each other like, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you serious? And then from then on, anybody of Game of Thrones fandom was, don't get attached to a character. They could die.
Nobody's safe. I think the last episode I watched was the wedding.
Oh God, the red wedding.
Yeah, I'm like, well, they just offed everybody.
Everybody. It's absolutely incredible. But you got to finish it. Now, season 8, it was rushed. Rumor has it that those 2 guys, D.B. Weiss and the other guy, were slated to do some Disney stuff for Star Wars. So they're all stoked about it. So
didn't they write it outside of what the author? Because the author never finished it at that time, right? Or something.
Yeah,
like that?
I don't think any of the seasons went right by the book.
Right.
So people say, "Oh, I already knew what happens. I read the book." Well, I think because they heard people say that, they're like, "I don't know. We're going to throw you a curveball because what you read, we're not doing that. We're doing something else, to keep it interesting for the fans, And there's some characters that I found out are in the show that don't even exist, in the books. They just kind of put them in there.
Right.
And, but so getting around to that, Game of Thrones is I do the Mountain from season 7 when he's a zombie, if you will. He's been reanimated, and I do that armor for the Queen. And the Queen takes over, and so it's the black armor with the big silver piece, and they got the silver shoulder bells, and that's on Facebook too.
Okay.
But I love doing the Mountain. Of course, you don't say anything; you just look ominous. And believe it or not, I'm as big as the actor who played the Mountain, Hawthor Bjornsson.
Oh, nice.
So you'll see pictures of me and him on Facebook. You'll see pictures of me and Brian Shaw, who's also a World's Strongest Man, on Facebook. And what's funny about Brian is, there's a huge line to meet him, and I get up there, and everybody kept saying, "Yours, twin, yours." I get up there, we just gave each other a big hug, because we were just so big. And Hathor's really cool. Met his parents, his grandparents, but Hathor Bjornsson is a really nice guy too. But God knows what kind of money he made and all the makeup he had to do and everything else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, anything else you want to tell us about Star Wars that we haven't talked about?
No, I can't. Like I said, I met a lot of the actors. Some actors you're like, whatever, and some, Real quick story about Mark Hamill when during the genre after Star Wars was done, he didn't want to be typecast. He's just tired of Star Wars. And then in Celebration 6 in Florida, so this is about 2015, he decided to show up. He decided to show up because that's a cash cow. Okay. I mean, you got actors that are totally obscure in the movie for a minute, and they're making money getting autographs and stuff, right? Plus, you get a certain amount of money for appearing. If you don't make your revenue, they can make it up to you and all that stuff, per diem and all that stuff. So Mark Hamill actually got on stage, and here we are. We're all 501st in Rebel Legion, so we're Star Wars fans, 100%.
Sure.
He actually got up and apologized to us. He says, "I am so sorry. I have shunned you guys for so long, and I just wanted you to know that I embrace you. You embrace me, and it's great to be part of the show or program again." And of course, we all knew. It's all about the revenue, personally. But a really nice guy. Got to meet just a different genre. Robot Chicken did the Star Wars thing. Well, my wife's got a great picture of Seth Green pushing my chest box like he's trying to get money out. Matter of fact, I remember I was fogged up. It was backstage. I was going to do a show, presentation or whatever. And I was fogged up, and I hear this guy's voice go, "Can I touch that?" I said, "No." He didn't hear me. And sure enough, my wife got the picture, and he walks away. And my wife goes, "Do you know who that was?" Because I can't see anything. I'm fogged up.
Yeah.
I said, "No." She goes, "That was Seth Green." I'm like, "You got a picture, right?" So,
sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So he's my I made a T-shirt for her. I bought. It says my fiance at the time is a Sith Lord, or husband. I think it was at that time was their fiance or husband is a Sith Lord. So he's pointing to the shirt, and so she got to meet him, and so we met really a lot of really awesome people.
Nice.
Doing that. But we got to meet the Hound from Game of Thrones. Who he is, and out of costume. He's tall. Rory McCann he's 6'6" out of costume. Wow. And he's real thin too. So he asked me if I was wearing anything under my costume. My man was a Wookiee. I said, "No, this is all me." He says, "Well, I'll wear a vest under my armor, right? To make me look bigger." Because he really is skinny. He really is a skinny guy. He lives on a boat. He don't have a house. Don't have a mailbox. Yeah, he lives on a boat. So when they need to call him for reshoots or anything else, they got to call him. He's got to come back in off his boat.
Interesting.
So he's an interesting guy. Yeah.
Cool.
But no, I can't think of anything else. I try to enjoy the new movies.
Oh, yeah.
If we get on that genre, like I said, The Force Awakens. Okay. The next one after that, I'm going to talk about. That is the worst movie ever. JJ says it now. George says it. Kathleen Kennedy, she regrets giving Ryan Johnson the reins, the whole 9 yards. And then JJ tried in the last one, but just to reinvent the Emperor the way they did, and to find out from Daisy Ridley herself that it was never written like that. They just kind of winged it. They kind of winged the writing and kind of put it together. And 1 minute you're like, "Oh yeah, cool," Next minute you're like, "What the hell just happened?" So it's tough.
I always thought with the first three movies, the last three, I should say, I'm sorry, 7, 8, 9, that with the first one, and then they showed. I just was presuming that Daisy Ridley's character Rey was going to be Luke Skywalker's daughter. It just kind of made sense to me that way. Tatooine,
right? Some people want like an offshoot of Kenobi, like she's a Kenobi or something, But
yeah, so I was, I did tune in live via the internet to the celebration in Chicago before the Rise of Skywalker, where they reveal the trailer, and then of course the stage turned red, and it
Yep.
was what's his
Yeah, Ian McDermott.
Ian McDermott,
Yeah,
and
can
that laugh,
roll it
and I
again. Yes.
and I got chills with that laugh. I really
Yeah.
did.
We
You
didn't
know,
get to go
so
to the actual presentation, but we were there at Celebration of Chicago,
okay,
and we didn't get to see that. But when you see it again, he comes out, and I'm like, "Oh, what?" And the laugh, like you said, and he says, "Roll it again,"
right,
and
right. I was like, holy cow, this is going to be awesome. So, I mean, I'm a little middle of the road. I really liked the way Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, got Kylo Ren with not really being there in that little scene in the end of The Last Jedi. I like
yeah.
that whole part, I thought that was cool. I loved how he wanted to save the books, and Yoda was like, "Have you ever read them?" Stuff like that. There was some good stuff in there. So
There was some parts, once you realize, man, he's not making footprints anywhere.
right,
You're like, okay, and that should have been Kylo Ren's first clue that he's looking at a hologram because there's no footprints.
right.
It just Mark Hamill did not want to die in that movie,
Okay,
and he wanted to carry on, to the next one because he knew pretty much he signed the contract for the next one as well. But he himself was bashing the movie until Disney says, "Hey, Mark, you still want your checks to cash?" And he
right.
had to change his tune right away.
Yep,
I mean, the actors were honest about how crappy it was, and then they had to go, well, we don't piss off the mouse,
right,
you
right.
know. So they had to change their tune. And
Now, how did you feel about the two side story movies, the Rogue One and Solo?
love Rogue One, and I love Solo.
Me
Solo
too.
did not have a chance, and didn't have a chance because of Last Jedi. Last
I
Jedi just killed the taste buds for any diehard Star Wars fan. I thought Solo was really good. You
I
know,
completely agree. When I went and watched Rogue One in the theater with a couple friends, when we left the movie theater, I literally said at that moment, I think I just saw the greatest Star Wars movie I've ever seen. It was that
I think so
good.
too. I think so
It
too.
was
The
so
fact,
well done.
and I don't know if you remember that, the first time I saw Grand Moff Tarkin, I'm like, what the hell? How'd
I
they do that?
I literally thought I thought that guy died a long time ago.
Yeah, Peter
That's
Cushing
what I
died a
thought it was.
long time ago.
Yeah, I thought
But
it was him.
the actor they had doing the parts, I mean, he looked a lot like Tarkin, and
Yes.
they could almost cast him like that. But they said, no, we want to make this just right, CGI, And
Yeah.
at the end with Carrie, even though that was her daughter doing the actual scene, doing the CGI, that was just a little more, I think,
It
I won't say
wasn't as
hokey,
it wasn't
right?
as
But
good as
it's
Peter
genuine,
Cushing. Yeah,
right?
it
It wasn't
wasn't
as
as good as
genuine as
Peter
Cushing.
Cushing.
It took
For
7 months to shoot Cushing.
But
7 months to shoot that.
I love that whole movie. I mean, every bit of it. And the best scene was when Vader entered the ship and all that smoke, and then the lightsaber, and then
And
his reign of terror down that hallway when they're trying to get the.
and
I
that
thought
was
that was
an
perfect.
add-on. That was a different Vader. Two guys played Vader in that. One guy in the scene, don't be
With
we talked to director Krennic, and then they decided
don't
I
choke
don't
on
know.
your aspirations.
I started director Krennic, and then they decided to shoot that scene, and that to me, laying waste to those rebels is Darth Vader.
Mhm.
Because you know as well as I do, when you got done seeing that, you said, no, he's a badass. And that's how he got the reputation as a badass. I mean, when he threw the guy on the ceiling, just cut him in half with the
Oh yeah.
lightsaber like it was nothing.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that was just incredible.
And and I'm with you on that. And then Solo, I saw by myself in the theater, and at the very end, and spoiler alert for anybody who hadn't seen it, shame on you if you haven't.
Yeah, no crap.
When I
It's for
saw,
free.
yeah, when I saw Darth Maul, I saw the hologram legs, and it didn't really compute. And I never watched the cartoons and stuff like some people. I tried, I just couldn't. I don't know why. I just couldn't get into the cartoon movie and stuff. So I literally said to the complete stranger next to me, how is Darth Maul in this timeline? I mean, I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And
you
the guy
can
goes,
blame
I was thinking the same thing. So I went home and Googled,
Clone,
and then I found out that,
Clone Wars.
right.
Yeah.
So after that, I'm like, okay, at least they based it on something.
Yeah. I never got into Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I know who the characters are. I know who Sokka is, and all that. And now they're going to do a live action. They're gonna have that one black actress play Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And like I told you before, bringing Boba Fett back, I thought he was supposed to die over 900 years, a slow, painful death. Your armor is not going to save you that much, buddy. And all of a sudden he's walking out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's almost like the Marvel Cinematic Universe versus, they're going to do this thing and change some things. It's not really affecting other things. So what is there really a Kenobi in the works? Because I keep seeing
according to the actor, he says, yeah, it's been green lighted and it's going to happen. And he's not getting that much older, and the older he gets, it's more authentic to Alec Guinness.
Right.
So
exactly.
So according to what's his name?
Ian McGregor.
Yeah, Ewan. He says it's to go.
I certainly hope so. And then also I've heard that Cassian's character from Rogue One, they're going to make live action series that he's going to play that character obviously prior to Rogue One, because he died in the end. And I liked him. I thought he was excellent, but
he was good. He was good. I don't know either. Maybe they go back and maybe they'll have KTSO. Yeah, maybe they'll have him in there too, because they were partners for a long time.
That was one of the best new robot characters since C-3PO and R2-D2. He was awesome. K2 was awesome.
Next to K2, Esso with his sarcasm was wait, my wife is what's her face from Solo. That was Lando's sidekick.
Yeah,
I
can't think of it. Yes,
yeah, she was just fantastic. I mean,
she was awesome,
fantastic.
And then the robot bounty hunter in Mandalorian.
Yeah, IG-11.
Yeah, nice.
And you saw they shot that right with the guys behind it, and he's moving everything around, and and then the one director is actually voicing the voice of him, the one black guy. Yeah, right. So it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's been an hour, so I don't want to take too much more of your time. You and I can go on this all day. I know your wife's
we could. Now she's like, "What are you doing?" Still.
We'll get another one going here in a couple weeks or so, and we'll talk about. I really want to get into your military history and your service and stuff, and anything you want to talk about stems from that. And really anything. This, I don't want it to be structured. I don't want to talk to you a bunch beforehand, like we didn't do with a bunch of questions, like the David Letterman show and all that, all off the cuff. I think that's the best way to go. So I really appreciate the time, Mark. It's good seeing you again. And I hope we can get together sometime when it's not virtual, COVID related and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I come up, and like I said, this man cave is going to be gone soon, going to another room, and I'm going to make it more like a museum kind of thing, because like I said, I got so much stuff. I don't have room to display it all. But it's going to be, I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I'd love to see it all. I look forward to that for sure, and meeting your wife and seeing your pets and stuff. Absolutely. So,
and maybe we'll get George up there so you can see George again.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen him. I used to live in the same neighborhood with him as adults. I saw him jogging one day, and I know that's George, because that's the only guy I know that's that tall. I mean, as far as I know, he's still the tallest guy that ever went to Wayne. I don't know if anybody's ever.
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. He's still got that record. He went real quick. He went to UT Austin, played 4 years for them, or of course scholarship.
Oh yeah. I saw him. I was in Michigan, unfortunately, living there after high school, watching a college basketball tournament, and literally with a buddy of mine, and George's at the foul line. I went to high school with that guy. He goes, whatever. I'm like, I'm not kidding, man. The guy's like 7'4", and then they showed him like George Muller, and he's like, wow. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, it was so cool. George is also 7'2", so the pictures we got together, people, I posted a picture of George and Peter and me, and they go, "Wow, you're really short, Mark." I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm not that tall." So,
he's 7'2", not 7'4".
He's 7'2". Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got tough enough time at 7'2".
And you are what are you again? 6?
About 6'8.5", 6'9".
That's what I thought. 6'8", 6'9". Okay. So you probably are close to one of the second tallest people in the Wayne's history. I don't know
I
if anybody
think
else has
so.
been 6'9".
I think so.
And you guys
I
are the
don't know.
same class.
Yep, same class.
So what were they feeding you guys in?
We always tease that she rides water. It's radioactive.
Yeah.
And of course, we hung out together a lot. So Taco Bell was always popular.
Oh yeah, my first job.
Potatoes and beans, man. I used to love that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we always tease that he rides water. But it's just weird because I'm like the weirdo of the family. Now my cousin, my grandma's side, a cousin showed up at a funeral and he was as tall as I am. So I'm like, okay, it comes from grandma's side, German side. Right. And but for George, his parents were tall. Mom's still alive. She just turned 90.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's still with us. Dad died years ago.
I remember.
But Dad was 6'5", and Mom is, I think
she's taller than him, wasn't she? Or she's about the same. Okay.
Yeah, about 6'4". So they met back in the 50s. They had tall persons clubs. So that's how they met.
No kidding. That's awesome. I remember at Studebaker, which you went there too, didn't you? Studebaker. Yep. At a basketball game, somebody said, "Hey, that's George Muller's mom," and it was not hard to figure out who they were looking at because she had a duck to get in the door practically. Yes. And I'm like, "Wow, his mom is huge." I'm 6'2". I'll never be, and I wasn't then, but so I'll never be as tall as her. So.
Talking about the Army, and our next thing is I went into training at 6'6" and graduated 7 months later at 6'8.5".
Oh, she's still growing.
Yeah. Wow. I grew 2.5 inches in training, getting my crap beat out of me. So I was like, whatever.
All right. Well, we'll cut this off. I appreciate it once again, and we'll keep in touch. I'd love to come out and see you, and we'll definitely do one with your military service to the country and all and everything.
Yeah.
And maybe if you wanted to blend it in because you served as a police officer and stuff like that. And, so all that stuff.
All right. Just hit me up.
Okay. I appreciate it, Mark.
All right. Take care, buddy.
Take care.